This is Car Con Carne. Car Con Carne is a Q101 podcast. I'm James VanOsdol. Car Con Carne is sponsored by Easy Automation. If you're looking to transform your home, your office, or business into a smart, seamlessly connected space, Easy Automation delivers custom automation solutions that are tailored to your lifestyle. Easy Automation makes technology work for you effortlessly, reliably, and always with your satisfaction guaranteed. Visit easy-automation.net or call my guy Dan at 630-730-3728 and take control of your environment today. Car Con Carne also sponsored by Exploding House Printing. Bands, brands, listeners who want to get the word out. Exploding House Printing can help with your screen printing, embroidery, and other merch needs. Exploding House delivers production efficiency and cost awareness to offer boutique print shop quality at much lower large print shop prices. Check out their work on Instagram at Exploding House or go to their website or just email info@explodinghouseprinting.com to get a quote.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James VanOsdol.
So yeah, back at it. I took a fair amount of time off relating to previously chronicled medical issues. Relating to my appendix. But as I'm recording this, December 6th, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling normal-ish, and I'm hoping, staying optimistic, that things will stay that way until my surgery, my appendectomy, next month, mid-January. So this episode just made more sense to record in the home office as opposed to the car, because this is a year-end wrap-up show. It's not a best of. That's not fair to all the different guests I've had through the past year. It's just some highlights I wanted to share from the past year. This episode is really just a thanks to everyone who's been on the show and everyone who's watched, listened, or paid attention for even a fraction of time over the past calendar year. So yeah, as I'm recording this, over 80 episodes recorded in 2025, 60 plus of those were relating to music. So even if you take out the non-music episodes, there's an average of one music-related episode a week, which brings me to the point that Car Con Carne is nominated for Best Music Podcast in the latest Chicago Reader Best of Chicago survey. And these things are tricky. In the past, I've gone all out, reminded people over and over again on social media, hey, deadline's coming up, you got to vote. No one likes that. I don't like doing it. So I'm just going to put it out there in this episode. If you took any value from Car Con Carne over the past year, if you find it to be appropriately the best music podcast in Chicago, I would love your vote. I would love your support. Obviously, recognitions like that go a very long way for a self-run, independent endeavor. So the Chicago Reader's Best of Chicago survey, vote Car Con Carne for best music podcast. So that out of the way, I want to go through some memories, some highlights from the past year. And since I can't cover everything, I'm going to wrap up this episode by literally going down a list of every single guest who's been kind enough to join me on Car Con Carne over the past year. I am grateful to every single one of them. But to begin, I want to go back to the very first episode that happened in 2025. It was recorded the first week of January, recorded at Livewire. I love Livewire. And I was joined by writer/author Josh Knoll, who had just released the book Malort, The Redemption of a Revered and Reviled Spirit. Absolutely must read. Fascinating story. When you read this book, you'll be left with the impression that there is no reason that Malort should have made it to the 21st century. Every conceivable obstacle was thrown in the way of Malort, and here we are heading into 2026, and Malort is what it is. But to start at the beginning, I mean, for people who don't know, for people who are still afraid, I asked Josh, what is Malort? For someone, just starting with the basics, for someone who's never had Malort, you kind of described it, the astringent, bitter, but what is this as a spirit it goes?
Mm-hmm. It's very simple, actually. So it's neutral spirit, meaning basically vodka, aged on wormwood, which is a bitter herb, and then it gets some sugar to balance it out. So this is basically an expression of wormwood. So it's very herbal, and wormwood is bitter, so it's very bitter too. But yeah, it's really a very simple product and has a lot of precedent through generations and generations, and especially European drinking culture, a digestif kind of thing, settles the stomach after dinner. Sort of gets the taste buds going, gets the stomach going. Wormwood is believed to have medicinal properties. I am a firm believer that it does settle the stomach after you eat too much, which is actually how I even came to have the idea for the book. I keep a bottle at home, unironically, because I enjoy it. And one night after too large of a meal...
which is what we do in Chicago.
Darn right, buddy. I cracked my bottle of Malort to sort of settle the stomach and poured the shot in my kitchen, took that shot down and thought, I wonder if there's a book in this.
And Malort reared its ugly head again on Car Con Carne early June. I went to Noon Whistle, where I visited with my spirit animal, their marketing director, Joey Jardinera, and he had just concocted, for reasons unknown, Butterlort. It was a combination of melted butter and garlic and Malort. And I went there and I tried it. Put your microphone down, Joey. Let's do this.
Is this it?
I want to get this out of the way.
Okay.
I want the conversation to be positive at some point. And this is just going to hang over my head. It's like a doctor's appointment. It's like...
Like the bottle is greasy.
When I make an appointment to see the doctor, I always schedule it for first thing in the morning. Because if you schedule it for like 4 or 5 o'clock, you think about it all day. That's thick.
It's clumpy. Oh, it's clumpy. Oh, that one's not as bad. Oh, my God. It's clumpy. I don't normally do this, but this one's for you, Javo.
Oh, my God. It's sitting on the top.
Oh, God.
Wait, no,
Are we? Okay. I don't know.
I don't want to do this.
I don't really either, man.
This seemed like a good... Would it make more sense to sip it in case things go horribly wrong?
No, I think we got this. You don't believe in yourself?
I believe in myself. Hang on, I'm going to move the camera real quick.
I believe in you. I think you got this, man.
Cheers. This is the Butterlort at Noon Whistle.
It's got garlic in it, too, so...
Fuck.
Garlic Butterlort.
Cheers.
Oh, God, that's bad. It kind of tastes like Olive Garden dressing. Ugh. It's not fucking good. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on this or not. Ugh. It almost like is good in a way.
It's not. It's not.
Ricky Leontonis is next. Special thanks to James VanOsdol. Thank you, Legit Dogs and Ice. Thank you. I didn't get your name right in the sound. Appreciate it, though. Tip your bartender. Enjoy your food. And yeah, we'll be here.
Oh my God, that band East Moon, that was from April. They performed live on episode 1035, recorded at Legit Dogs and Ice, a restaurant I did a handful of live events at in 2025. The restaurant was open for only a handful of months. It came and went. I mean, in the spirit of rock and roll, it's better to burn out than fade away, I guess. But we had some amazing experiences on stage, fantastic crowds, so much fun, and East Moon sounding so good on that song right there. So Jeff Schwartz, long before I ever got a job in radio back in the 90s, I was well aware of who Jeff Schwartz was. He is a cult of personality, a marketing genius in the world of broadcasting, and he figures large in the biographical book The Flip Side, Where Chicago Rocked, written by Carl and Larry Rosenbaum along with Ken Chirilla, a book about the Flip Side record store, which was a major player on the music landscape in Chicago in the 70s, 80s, and beginning of the 90s. And in this clip, Jeff Schwartz talked about how he and only he could have done this, closed an iconic deal with The Who.
It had to be 79 or 80.
So that would be the Who Are You tour, or Face Dances was 80.
I think it was Who Are You, but the funny thing is, after all was said, where our music director, Sky Daniels, talked to Bill Kerbishley, who is the Who's manager, myself, Mitch Michaels, a name, well known, and our general manager, Mitch was the program director then, and our general manager, Les Elias, we had to fly to Detroit to meet with Townsend and Kerbishley.
Oh my God.
And they were playing they usually do their first 3 or 4 shows of a national tour in small arenas. So if they screw up, how mad can you be? You're seeing The Who in a 2,000 seat arena. And we were at the Detroit Masonic Temple, I think it was. So we're sitting there and we're waiting. We're talking to Kerbishley, the Who manager, and we hear a ton of arguing in the hallway. And Bill said, "Oh, the show must be over." And Pete and Roger Townsend and Daltrey are having probably a very nice conversation now. Excuse me, let me go out. So the door opens, you hear the yelling louder. Then finally, Townsend walks in, and Townsend goes, that was just us. Love taps, fuck him. And he sits down at his dressing table, and he goes, "Do you blokes, yes, blokes, get high?" And so Les Elias, our general manager, because it's a business meeting, says no. Mitch, for whatever reason, said no. I said, "Do I get high?" He took out, honestly, James, it had to be the size of a tire iron. And I had to go through and finish all. I'm not going to say when Pete Townsend passes me a joint, I'm not going to say,
that's
no,
how you close the deal.
Enough.
You don't stand on ceremony. That's how you close the deal with Pete Townsend.
I think we can all agree that Fitzgerald's is one of the greatest live music locations in and around the Chicago area, period. I love Fitzgerald's. And around this time last year, Fitzgerald's was officially added to the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Park Service. Now, in advance of that plaque dedication, I went to Fitzgerald's for episode 1043. It was end of April. And I sat down with co-owners Will Duncan and Jess King, and we talked a little bit about the history of the Fitzgerald's building.
What was the other restaurant one?
Richard Smith's Seafood.
Richard Smith's Seafood. Yeah, that was the guy who shot his hand off or something.
Yes,
right?
okay. Yes. He was in the basement, right? And he shot his hand off.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to kill a rat in the basement, apparently. It's like it was big news in Berwyn in 1940 or whenever that was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would be big news in 2025 if one of you shot your hand off trying to kill a rat.
Actually,
one thing I've always loved to do on this podcast that I didn't do enough of in 2025 is bringing people together from totally different worlds, whether it's a restaurateur and an artist or 2 artists from entirely different art forms. I think I accomplished that in October. I went to Hell's Gate. I love Hell's Gate Haunted House in Lockport. Always a tremendous, world-class movie-like experience. I went to Hell's Gate with Club Drugs. Love Club Drugs. They just put out an album. Those 2 are brilliant. But we went there, and one of the reasons why I took Club Drugs to Hell's Gate is because I know they're horror fans. And in this clip, we talked to Hell's Gate founder John LaFlamboy about the experience.
It was also the first time that I've ever seen Maria get scared.
Yeah, I never get scared. I never am startled by anything, and it happened several times. Oh, so
oh, tell the kids. They'll be so happy.
And it was amazing to watch James jump out of his pants several different times. There was 4 creatures coming at him at quite a clip, and I thought we were going to lose him. So I personally had the best experience ever because I got to watch these two actually have the best time.
Now, you can say what you want about Maria. And Maria, try to scoot a little bit to your right if you can. I feel like we're losing your face. Oh, there she is. Hey, it's Maria from Club Drugs. Maria's braver than most. Like, she is that person who goes into the haunt. She is leading the party. She's the first one to experience everything. Like, nothing phases her, at least at first. Like, some people don't want to be, they want to be the people who are, like, grabbing someone's shirt in front of them. Maria's not that person. She is the party lead.
Way to do it.
First one in the pool.
James was grabbing my shirt a couple times.
No.
But it was okay. It was warranted.
I love having comedians on Car Con Carne, and this guest was literal years in the making. Kristen Toomey. She joined me in early August for episode 1066. I've wanted her on this podcast for a very long time, and in this clip, we talk about the path it took to get her here.
I'm such a fan of yours, and I watch this podcast, and so when I was locked out of my Facebook...
I was going to talk about that.
Because I threw my phone outside during the pandemic. I threw everything outside. I got sober, and I just threw my phone in the planter. I threw everything outside, and then I couldn't...
Wait, was this like a breakdown?
Yeah, it was like or breakthrough.
Okay.
Prefer to say. And so this is 2020, summer of 2020, and lost my ability to get into that Facebook. So my manager, I just got a manager finally, thank God, and they were able to contact Meta and get me into the Facebook, the old Facebook page, and I saw a bunch of messages, but the one that stuck out was from you because I grew up listening to you, and I watched this pod, and I thought, oh my gosh, and I wrote you back 4 years later.
Well, that's the funny thing. So I went to Zany's 4 years ago, and you opened up for Chris Redd.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh man, she's great. I wonder if she would do the podcast. And I think within 24 hours, I sent you a message asking if you would do it. And then it was a total message in a bottle. You appeared 4 years later.
Mm-hmm. It washed up on my shores. And I was like, wow, I would love to. That's awesome.
So I'm thrilled you're here. Now, as a comedian, aren't you supposed to have a regular podcast?
I should have
Isn't that part of the bylaws now?
I should.
This song's called 14,000 Things to Be Happy About. Tell your mom that you're not coming home tonight. You've got your youth, your will, and you're willing to fight. And no conscience could keep your heart in one piece. When there's passion to be found, when there is stress, when there's release. So into the open air, you soak it all in and live your life like the world owes you something more than what you have. Like a one-way ticket or any free ride, a brand new box to put your head inside, or a neat new monument with your name etched in. A home to call your own, new problem-free, willingly withdrawal from certainty, and lack of sleep on the pure and peaceful path of stupidity. And growing gets hard, waiting gets old to you. And I know feeling is no fun, feels like you're out, down and done too. But oh, grow up, when will you ever learn? When will you learn that candle in the window is gonna be the reason your whole house burns, and the money, it's just like a carrot on a string, And there is a horse standing over a black hole basement after losing everything but your car. You know it's running like a dream, and your grass, it looks so green, and everyone thinks you're an angel or something. But we'll take the fake happy over knowing what's wrong. We'll give you the stuff that you need to belong, and hope that's what you need. By a small chance, a quick and heavy dose of acceptance. Growing gets hard, and time is running out, and you'll die a young and exciting death, telling us in your last breath there was nothing to be happy about. So we dance and let the flowers come up through the footstep floor mat, and now is your chance to seize this all. You seize it all while your smile hides what's beneath, keeps the sadness a secret as we grow old, taking it all with us. And now I know there are mistakes that go along with youth, so choose to replace or take them with you. And I feel so bad now, being so old, so angry, so broke, so unhappy, tired and ugly. And now growing gets hard, waiting gets old to you. And I know feeling is no fun, feels like you're out, down and done too. And you'll die a young and exciting death, telling us in your last breath there was nothing to be happy about. All right, thanks.
Chris Otepka, the Heligoats and Troubled Hubble, on stage at another one of the Live at Legit Dogs events we did in 2025. That was episode 1057. Chris was a multiple-time guest in 2025. Troubled Hubble also jumped in my car outside a street festival outside Milwaukee in September. Lords of Acid reemerged in 2025, along with their new Acid Queen, Carla Harvey, who jumped in the car in April for episode 1039. So thinking about this transition to Lords of Acid, your fans coming over from Butcher Babies, will they be surprised by what you're doing now?
I think they'll be surprised, but I also think they're not going to be surprised. It's not like that far off. People keep saying, oh my God, it's so different. It's this. And yes, the music's different, but I think the energy level is the same. Mm-hmm. And Butcher Babies fans are so accepting of different things or trying new things. That's the one thing that I really, really love about the Butcher Babies fan base. If you want to try something different, they want to love it. They're not going to, immediately say, well, that's terrible. I don't want to hear this. I only want to hear this one. You do this one guttural scream, the whole song. So they're really giving. So I'm excited for people to come see it and at least have a different experience than they're used to, and have a little fun.
Yeah. I remember hearing Face to Face for my first time back in the 90s. I think it's incredible that Face to Face is still doing their thing in 2025. Yes, there were some breaks, but they're still doing their thing. They're still live on stage. They're at Motoblot. And before they did their Motoblot set, Motoblot. Before they did their Motoblot set at Salt Shed, I interviewed Trevor Keith in a live in-store at Loud Pizza Records at Salt Shed, and we talked about the state of the band in the present day.
We are having the best time ever as a band. It's
Why is that?
We're on a run, actually, of that. We just there was a period where we went away for a little while, and when we decided to come back, we reformed with the best group of people that get along. There's a brotherhood. We love being out on the road together. We love traveling. We love playing music together. So we have a great time whenever we get together. And the music is only part of it. We just like hanging out.
Well, and the pressure and the silliness have gone away, right? Those are things of the past.
Exactly. Yeah. I turned a corner at some point where I quit worrying about being competitive with other bands and all that kind of nonsense and just went, just do what you do.
Speaking of 90s bands still kicking ass doing their thing, Save Ferris came to Chop Shop in April. And after the show was over, I sat down with Monique Powell of Save Ferris for episode 1042. And I mentioned that it was basically kismet that I was going to see them that night simply because of what I experienced on the way to the show. And I knew it was kismet as I was driving here. I was driving up Elston Avenue in Chicago toward Chop Shop. And I passed by an independent restaurant, and they had one of those chalkboard signs on the sidewalk advertising their Spam breakfast burritos for breakfast.
It.
I wish I could.
That's amazing.
In my life, I've never seen Spam advertised on a street sign like that. The one time I see it is when I'm on my way to see Save Ferris. It was meant to be.
That's very funny.
Right? Back in the 90s, some of you will remember, I did the local music show on Q101, Local 101, previously the Local Music Showcase. And one of the bands that really emerged, they were the band that all the other bands liked, that I just loved, was the Pulsars. They put out one album on Almo Sounds, and that was it. They got one album. It was a one and done. And then they just kind of faded away. Such a fun, cool band. I think they were probably 5 years ahead of their time. Pulsars are back, and main Pulsar man, Dave Trumfio, made that emphatically clear when I interviewed him in Wisconsin in September. And one of the interesting things about Dave, besides the Pulsars, is he is a well-regarded producer. He's been producing all kinds of artists through the years. And in this clip, I talked about one of the higher profile and more recent artists he worked with. As far as your production work goes, you've worked with so many different people, and whether it's Wayne Kramer or OK Go or Wilco or My Morning Jacket, I'd be willing to bet that the one people ask you the most about is Dogstar.
It's the most recent. Yeah.
Like, what's
what do
he
you want
like?
to know?
No, I don't. Like, I don't even need to go there. But if I just had to guess, when people ask you about your king size work,
yeah,
that's the band that comes up most. Because people are fascinated by celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, Keanu, I have to say, is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
He certainly
such
has
a
that
great
reputation.
Guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a really nice guy. Not just because I don't know, like if he wasn't a star, I'd be like, that guy's a sweet guy. Like he's a super cool. Working with them, it was a very interesting project, and because they haven't played music for like 20-something years as well, like a lot like the Pulsars.
Something of a kinship.
Yeah, and like they literally wrote that album like a month before we met, and then like a week later we're in the studio. So like it was like a really raw, fresh kind of energy about the band, and that was pretty exciting to be involved with.
It doesn't happen that often, but every now and then I'm able to get a touring musician on Car Con Carne, and we're able to just get into this history that we all kind of know, and it's really thrilling for me. And along those lines, I had Kid Congo Powers in September on the show, episode 1076. Kid Congo Powers from the Cramps, Gun Club, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Oh my God. We talked about the fact that he was once influenced by the cool bands of his era. The question being, is he now the one influencing future bands? I mean, there you were, the 1970s, discovering the Ramones, becoming a fan, becoming the president of the fan club. You've been doing this long enough, kid. Do you think there's some misfit kids somewhere in America right now discovering your music and kind of finding their way?
I know there is, because that's what kids do. That's what young people into music do. And and if they're passionate about it, they're going to, turn over every rock and nook and cranny and go in there and, do some, archaeological dig to find out, what is the meaning of life, but what is the meaning of rock music and what's the meaning of, so that's the whole thing is that, I think there are kids, people a lot of the time say to me, like, the question is like, oh, don't you feel sorry for kids now? They don't have what you had when you did, and I was like, well, they have. I do not underestimate young people. I think that there is an underground going on.
Yes.
And I think I don't know about it. And because I'm not supposed to know about it, all of these young people, if they are creating a subculture or mining what they find and new, or creating their own new style of music and all, mashup of whatever they love. I think it's going on. I know it's going on because I hear about it.
One of the hardest things for me to do, and has been for the past few years, is coordinate restaurants to be on the show. It takes a lot of work to source restaurants that want to be part of the show, coordinate schedules, and I just don't have food guests on as often as I'd like. This one isn't a restaurant. This is an island unto itself. Crust Fun Pizza, run by my friend John Carruthers. He's always entertaining. He's also super smart, and he's incredibly innovative. The work he's done with his Crust Fun Pizza, from a charitable angle, from an innovation angle, creativity, so awe-inspiring. He truly is a creative force. He is a culinary force at this point. His pizza is among the best I've ever had, and it's all served up in his alley. And we talk about one of his pizzas in episode 1036.
This again is the Royco, named after legendary Chicago writer Mike Royco.
Yes, and his son and erstwhile local community guy Sam has had this. And
has he really?
Given it his stamp of approval. Yeah, we had it over at Big Joe's. We took it into a bar with no food and ate it, and he said Dad would have loved this, and I was into it.
Oh, this looks wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it actually looks wonderful. Like, the colors look lovely on this.
I mean, yeah, that's not me. That's just the magic of Jardinera. Like how sometimes you have to stop and appreciate a waterfall, just like how nature does it up.
So you do a podcast long enough, you're bound to have many repeat guests. And of those repeat guests, there's bound to be one that appears more often than anyone else. In the case of Car Con Carne, that guest is Josh Caterer of Smoking Popes. He joined me this summer. It was July 9th when the episode aired, episode 1060. Josh had just come off the road with the Popes, and the Popes had just released what may be, this is a tough one to say out loud, maybe their best album. And we're all familiar with the old stuff, but Lovely Stuff, the new one, is so good, it's so accomplished, and it feels like such an advancement in songwriting. It's a wonderful record. We'll leave it at that. He came on the show to talk about the new album specifically, to go track by track. And we talk about the interesting path Smoking Pope's album titles had taken up to that point. Another way I think things are different now, things have changed. Smoking Popes is not a band known for optimistic album titles.
Right.
Get Fired, Born to Quit. And when you see them back to back, it's pretty obvious. Destination Failure, The Party's Over, Stay Down. This is only a test. It's kind of an outlier.
It's kind of neutral.
Yeah, and then Into the Agony. Here we have Lovely Stuff, and there's a hearty sense of optimism from start to finish on this. This is an album about love.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I guess I feel like I should apologize for that. I feel like I've let everyone down.
Not at all. Is this like a midlife course correction?
I do feel like it's a kind of a stage of life, taking stock of things and sort of embracing a dogged determination to prevail. And, I got the word Excelsior tattooed on my arm, which literally means ever upward.
The only reason I know that word is because I read Marvel comic books as a kid. That's what Stan Lee would sign off with. Excelsior, true believer.
Yeah, that was his motto.
Mm-hmm.
I was more inspired by Silver Linings Playbook.
There. Yeah, 14-time guest, Josh Caterer of Smoking Popes. So, like I said at the beginning of the episode, no way to cover everything that happened. No way to feature every single guest in this recap or highlight episode. But I can rattle off the names of everyone who's been on, and that's what I'm going to do. This may seem boring, but I feel like it's something I have to do. I have to pay respect to everyone who's been on the show since the beginning of the year. And it's a lot of people. So here we go. And my voice is still a little trashed post hospitalizations. So hopefully it'll hold up as I go down the list of every guest from Car Con Carne in 2025. Josh Knoll, Dave Horniak of Livewire Lounge, Bill Jacobs of Peace and Hot Doug Sohn, Herb Rosen of Liars Club, McLuhan, Odd Whitson, Seances, Jeff Schwartz, Ken Chirilla, Dyslexicon, The Unmasked Coven, James the Boneless, Brian and Hazel Crum, Hypnotist Chris Jones, Dr. Daryl Wilson of the Bullweevils, Stubby from Lucky Boys Confusion, Bronze, River from White Rabbit Object, The Beer Nuts, Violets, Calico Loco, Fax, 13 Monsters, Evan J. Thomas, Opal Vinopal, Jean-Francois Alcalia. Yeah, I think that's right. East Moon, Chris Pienta, Joseph Christopher, John Carruthers, Siren Records McHenry, Comasoft, Lords of Acid, Jake from Threadless, The Spectral Silhouette, Save Ferris, Fitzgerald's, With Patience, Atlas Moth, Afrofuturistics, Your Mom, El Bisonte, Bellhead, Karen Shook, Aaron Williams, Sincere Engineer, Chris Bongat, Derision Cult, Obscurity Brewing, Kevin Kellum, Noon Whistle, Danimal Farm, Mark Esses, Taste of Randolph, Daisy Chain, Glory Days, Bad Candy, Chris Otepka, Eric Oren, Face to Face, Flake Michigan, Smoking Popes, here we go again, Lucky Boys Confusion and the Bullweevils, Stephanie Sack, Staring Problem, Time Thieves, Dave Suh and the Dirty Wings, Kristen Toomey, Steve Delinsky, Christian from Busy Beaver, Lollygagger, Flowers at Her Feet, Coyote Man, Inc. 180, Wild Dogs Comedy, Wonderlick, Friend of a Friend, Broken Robots, Alexis Plain, Gina Barkle, Venus Club, Kid Congo Powers, Andy Bagwell, Mike Fellamley, Francis May Ling, Devin K. and the Solutions, Troubled Hubble, The Pulsars, Jacob on the Moon, Bass Drum of Death, The Oohs and Ahs, Club Drugs, Hell's Gate, Noon Whistle again, White Rabbit Object, The Volo Antique Mall, The Flock, Sam Russo, and then the guest hosts and all their guests, Kevin Kellum with Greg Prado, Bellhead with Martin Atkins, Evan J. Thomas with Now It's Dark, my daughter, Fiona VanOsdol, she hosted a show, Kevin Kellum with comedian Adam Burke, Jaime Black with Stuart Hicks, Kevin Kellum again, overachiever, with the Sklar Brothers. That brings us to the present. Thank you so much for a great year. Yeah, I had some health stuff at the end of the year, but Car Con Carne keeps moving forward thanks to the friends and extended family of this podcast that has grown over the past, where are we at, 13 years? I don't know. It's been a long time and a lot more to come. Again, I'll mention it. This will be the last time I mention it. Car Con Carne nominated for Best Music Podcast in the Best of Chicago survey, Chicago Reader. Go there and vote if you feel so inclined. If you feel even more inclined, tell a friend. Support like that, recognitions like that go a really long way for humble indie podcasts like this. Thanks to everyone who's been supportive, not just of the show, but of my goofy health situation at the end of the year. I'm getting better, and I'll keep getting better, and I really value all the correspondence I've had over the past couple months. Anyway, thank you. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and I wish you a prosperous, healthy, and happy 2026.